Firewall Analyzer Free Trade Part 1. A quick introduction about myself. I'm Shweta Balaji, Partner Marketing Associate at ManageEngine, and I'll be your presenter for today. Along with me, we have technical support experts as panelists to help with any queries as and when they arise. So please feel free to reach out for clarifications. So let's jump into today's agenda for our session, where we'll be looking at a typical network infrastructure and why firewalls play a critical role in network security. And second, we'll look at an important question in hand, that is, why should a security admin use Firewall Analyzer? From here, we'll be looking at how to fetch the rules and configurations from your firewall device to Firewall Analyzer. Further, after fetching the rules, we'll have a look at different capabilities of Firewall Analyzer, which includes the rule management, configuration monitoring, and finally, we'll wind up with looking at the compliance and audit reports of Firewall Analyzer. With that being said, let's start with the session by a quick look into a typical network infrastructure. As you might be aware, it consists of a router, WAN, LAN, and also multiple endpoint devices which connects to these WAN and LAN. And also you have various on-premise servers including Active Directory server, mail, web, FTP, etc., which manages the permissions to your various network resources. And last but not the least, you have gatekeeper to all of these devices, which is your firewall device. So hackers generally can get on, hack, and make their way into any of these devices, and ManageEngine products in general have the capability to monitor and report on all of these network devices. However, today we will be specifically looking at firewalls and the product Firewall Analyzer. So why firewall devices in specific? Because firewalls make the heart of any network security. Once a hacker gets into this house, he or she will have unlimited access to your entire network infrastructure. So now let us look at a pertinent question in hand, that is, what are the major reasons for a firewall device to be at risk, and also why Firewall Analyzer? So Gartner predicts that around 99% of the exploited vulnerabilities will continue to be the one known by security and IT professionals for at least 1 year. So firewall misconfigurations, and specifically the known misconfigurations, are the issue. This makes it critical to identify and fix your firewall misconfigurations. And second, with hackers working around the clock to breach networks, it is essential that your firewall rules are spot on. So outdated firewalls can be easily exploited by the hackers to get into your network. This makes firewall rules optimization and auditing a priority, and it should be carried out at regular intervals. Third, network security admins are always in a constant tug of war with the hackers, and to win this war, network admins constantly install new network security devices. However, hackers are always inventing new ways to get around these systems, so merely installing new security devices is of no use. Stopping with using a monitoring solution won't suffice, and what your enterprise would need to do is combine it with monitoring with a quick remediation. Lastly, regulatory updates. They not only ensure regulatory compliance, but will also help you in covering common security loopholes. Using Firewall Analyzer, a policy management and configuration reporting software, helps in managing and optimizing your firewall rules using its rule management section. So it helps in identifying who made what changes, when and where. Not only this, it also helps in taking a configuration backup in case of a network disaster using its configuration monitoring and backup module. It also helps you to keep track of security and traffic logs using its log analysis feature. And then you have alarm management, which helps you to notify attacks and anomalies as and when they happen. And finally, you have the compliance management feature, which will help you to identify firewall misconfigurations. Now that you've got a brief on the capabilities of Firewall Analyzer, let us just jump straight into how to fetch the rules and the configurations from your firewall device to Firewall Analyzer knowledge. Step 1 is to configure your firewall device to generate syslogs at UDP port 1514, which act as the default listener port for Firewall Analyzer. So once you do this, you can perform log analysis and alarm management using Firewall Analyzer. Step 2 would be once you receive the syslog from your firewall device and forward that to Firewall Analyzer, credential profile can be set for the specific firewall device. Once this gets done, you get access to the inventory reports, that is the specific report for each of the firewall device that is added to Firewall Analyzer. So we'll cover step 1 and 2 in detail in the next session, which is scheduled to happen on 11th of March, which is like 1 week from now. And we also have other exciting features that we'll be covering in that session. But in today's session, we'll cover step 3, that is all about adding device and device rule. So once you set the credentials, you should now fetch the firewall rules and configurations from your firewall device and add the device to the device rule. So once you get this, you get access to the rule management reports, configuration monitoring and backup, and finally compliance management report. So as I told you, this is what we are going to discuss in today's session. So you can fetch the firewall rules and configurations by two methods. Number one is you can fetch the firewall rules and configuration from your firewall using CLI or API protocol. And the second way is to add the device in the device rules by directly uploading the rules and configurations from your firewall device. So the first method will be discussed in this slide, and we'll see the second method in the following slide. Currently, API or CLI fetching is available for select firewall vendors, and we'll be sharing you a list of all the firewall vendors that support this feature towards the end. And in case you want to check out, it's always available on your website. So over here, you can see a sample screenshot of how to add the device info. On the left, you can see the CLI of a firewall device. So here we have taken the case of Cisco Firewall, and on the right we have Firewall Analyzer's product UI. So as you can see in the UI, you need to enter the, you can select the device, and then you need to select the fetch through option, and you'll enter the primary information like web server URL. You'll need to enter the username and password, and you just hit on this validate option. So let me show this to you in working. Let's switch to Firewall UI. So this is what you will see as the main dashboard in Firewall. Here, you have to go to settings, and then under Firewall server, you have to click credentials. And as you can see, these are the available device rules. And to add a new firewall device, you have to click on add, and you can select a device here. So let's go with this for now. And here you can click on the fetch option. So as you see, there are different options such as API and file. Let's go with API now, as that's what we are looking at. And you have to click on, you have to enter the web server URL, you have to enter in the token value and then the network name. And by clicking on validate, that particular firewall device credentials will be added successfully, which you can see in this tab. So as you see, this shows the command status as success. And by clicking on this, you'll be able to see the device names. You have the modes that you have entered here. So whether it is API or CLI or file, and then you can see the security audit, configuration changes, all the information that you would need. So moving on to the second method, the second way to add a device in the device rule is to directly upload the rules and configurations to Firewall Analyzer. So to do this, first you'll have to export the configuration file and the rule file from the firewall device, and then you need to create the rule file manually. So this is nothing but a text file where each rule is listed in a single line in the respective order, and each rule needs to be separated by a comma. In case you have queries on this, we have detailed help guides explaining this process completely, and you can check that out on Google. So coming back to the topic, once you have these two files, the rule and the configuration file, or even either of the file, that is your rule or configuration file, you can upload them to Firewall Analyzer, and the device will be added to the device rule. So let me show you that. So again, I'm taking you back to this, and here you can click on this fetch through option, and you can select file. So as you see, there are two options where you can You can click on the browse, and then that will take you to the window where you have the files in your local, and then you can also see the import configuration file. So either of these files, if you have it available, that would work. And once you have browsed it, then you can click on import and that particular file will be added. So moving back to the deck, there is another method that is called the device addition, manual device addition. So this will let you add your firewall device itself to Firewall Analyzer. And this method, so what it does is we have removed the usual syslog requirement here, which is required to add the devices. So you just simply need to enter in the IP address and the device name, and you can choose the vendor name, and once that is done, the device will be automatically added to the firewall analyzer. So we currently support this feature only for select number of vendors. And again, as I told you before, I'll be sharing this list with you post this session, and you can have a good look at it right away. So going back to the UI, let me take you to this tab. So you can either access this via this settings and discovery, or you can just switch to this. So as you see, there are different options like forward syslog from device, or you can also import a syslog file. But here, as we saw now, we are going to add a device manually without syslog. So selecting this option, you will be able to choose a device type, whether it is a firewall or a router. And then you can click on a vendor name, and let's go with FortiGate for now. And you will be able to enter in the IP address, and then you can enter a device name here. And if you wish to have a rule management and compliance report for this particular device, you can click on this. And firewall analyzer will need a little more information from you, where you will be able to select the fetching option here, whether it is a CLI or API or a file method. And then you can click on this credential profile, and you might have to enter in the credentials, whether it is primary, or if you want to go for additional, then you have more details to enter in here for more insights for this. So you can select a protocol, and then click on the firewall IP address, the login name, and the password and prompt. And once you are done with all of these steps, then you can click on validate, and the device will be added again for your monitoring. So moving on, once you fetch the firewall rules and the configuration from the firewall device, you get access to three reports, that is the rule management report, configuration management report, and the complaints and audit report. So I'll be explaining this to you using imaginary scenarios around an imaginary security admin, of course, who will be experiencing a couple of network security pitfalls. And let's see how he can overcome that using Firewall Analyzer. So let's assume that we have a new security admin here. He is named Jim, and Jim, who is working for a company, and there have been a lot of network security issues that is reported in the company. And as a preliminary task, the company has asked Jim to do the following. So they want him to optimize his firewall policies or rules. They want him to monitor the changes that are made to the firewall's configuration, and also they want him to schedule periodic configuration backups, and finally they want him to submit a detailed compliance and security audit report. So let's see what are the challenges that Jim faces along the way. So use case one is the first task in hand. So for this, Jim is expected to optimize the firewall policies, and he has to face the following challenges. The number one is he's new to the company, which means he does not have visibility into the existing rule set. Secondly, the company is pretty old, meaning there are at least thousands of rules for him to review, and he has to review each of these rules manually. Because of the lack of visibility, this will take an enormous amount of time. And again, since this is a very old company, the rules have not been reviewed yet from day one. And there are a lot of duplicate and unused rules. And also the fact that more than one security admin has written this rule will only complicate the process, which makes the rule highly unoptimized. And there's a very huge challenge for Jim, which is it is to fix this. And not only, as I mentioned, it is also an old company with more than 1,000 rules, and any new rule that Jim would plan to add has a chance of affecting the existing rule set negatively. And last but not the least, to add on to the complexity, the company does not have just one firewall, but they have around 5 firewalls. And every time Jim needs to write a new rule, he has to analyze the impact of making this particular change, and what is the change and impact of this particular change on the existing rule, etc. So the first requirement, the company has asked to optimize firewall analyzer. Again, doing all of these on a manual basis will take an enormous amount of time and effort, which has a higher chance of introducing human error. So let's see how Jim uses firewall analyzer to overcome these challenges. Let us look at the rule management feature of firewall analyzer, which will help Jim to address all of the challenges that are facing him. So the first feature under rule management that we are going to look at is the policy overview. So the policy overview report gives you the visibility to all the rules that have been written on the firewall, and you can filter these rules according to the allowed or denied rules, inbound or outbound rules, inactive rules, logging disabled rules, and also any to any overly permissive rules. So besides viewing them, you can also download them and analyze the list of rules. Hence, with this feature, Jim can get clear visibility into the existing rule set that is present on all of his firewalls. So let me take you to the product to show how this works. So you can just go to this and click on rule management. So under rule management, you will have an overview of the firewall. So you have a summary of all the rules written in the firewall. As you can see, the total rules count is 26 and the allowed rules count is 18, and you have the denied rules count, you have the inbound and outbound rules count, you have inactive rules count, and any to any rules count, and allowed rules count with any services. So you can see the classifications here clearly. And by clicking on this total rules count, you will be able to find the rule number slash ID of them. You can see the particular source and destination, and you can see the source interface, destination interface, and you will also be able to see the service and the action of them. So each of these will have secure different tabs. So you can also see them by security rules, you can see them by object details, you can see the NAT rules here, and you will also be able to click on this particular rule. And if you want to have them to be sent to you on some other format such as PDF or CSV, you can click on this to export them. Or if you wish to have this emailed to your mailbox, then all you have to do is click, and then you can configure the mail server settings, and that will be sent to your respective mail address with the subject. So yeah. So moving on to the next feature of rule management, we are going to look at policy optimization. So now that Jim has solved the visibility issue, let us look at how the policy optimization feature will help him to address his challenges. So as I mentioned before, the rules have been written by multiple security admins, and they have not been reviewed for a very long period of time. So because of this, there are a lot of anomalous rules and also overly permissive rules which will affect the performance of the firewall. With Firewall Analyzer, he can rectify the anomalies that are present in the firewall policies, reduce the overly permissive rules, and also fine-tune the existing rule set. Let us quickly jump to the policy optimization report. So here you can access this by this rule management and optimization, or you can just switch to this tab, and here you will be able to find the policy anomalies. So as you see, there is the color coded categorization of these anomalies, and you have the redundancy, generalization, correlation, and all of these anomalies that are being listed here. And so this is how it will classify all the anomalies that is present for this particular firewall device. And you can also find this for the device group if you have configured any, and you see the count of each of these anomalies. So for now, let's stick to this device FortiGate. And so clicking on this, you will be able to find why that particular anomaly is being raised there. And you can see the rule number and the source, the destination, source interface, destination interface, and the services and action. And the description will provide you the reason for why that is being labeled as an anomaly. And yeah, so this information you can find for any number of anomalies that's being listed here. So, Firewall Analyzer identifies the following rule anomalies, that is shadow, redundancy, generalization, correlation, and grouping. So you can see the detailed examples of all the anomalies that are detected by Firewall Analyzer. And we'll share this presentation with you once the training is over so that you can go through the list of all anomalies and understand the ones that are classified and segregated and shared in the anomalies window of Firewall Analyzer. So to expand on anomalies, let me take you back to the product. So as you saw, we have a pie chart here. And as you can see, the different anomalies that are present as we just discussed now. And this is segmented over here. And for the same device, you can see there are a couple of, the correlation alerts, correlation anomalies, and you can see the reason for that as well. So the second feature that we are going to look at under this is the rule suggestion. So let's see what the suggestion says. So for example, I'm clicking on this rule suggestion and here I'll be able to see the details of the same. So we can see the overly permissive rule names that come under this, and you can also see the source and the destination and the services that are running. And again, as I told you, you can be able to export this to any format such as PDF, or you can also export it as CSV, and then you can configure the mail settings as well to get this report generated. And the next one is the policy fine tuning. So the policy fine tuning feature is this is data for specific rules, and for specific time period you can get this, and you can click on the hit fine tune. So this will provide you a recommendation of the rule change that you can carry out. So you can also select this for any number of custom period, like last 24 hours or last 7 days or last 30 days as well. And you can find their existing rule set, and how you can fine tune is the recommendation that you would get. Following that, you'll also have the tab where you can see the overview of the network and service objects that have been used by your firewalls based on the syslogs received for a period of time. So you can see the detailed object usage report here. So you can see the topmost used network objects and top least used network objects. And similarly, you can see the topmost used service and top least used service objects. And this will help you see what are the network objects that have been weighing down your firewall's performance, and these are the service objects. So the next one is the duplicate objects. So duplicate object report will help you to find your network or service object having the same set of IP addresses, services, but different object name. And this duplicate object can slow down the firewall device. And with this report, you can better identify and fix the data. So fix it to get more data. So as you can see, there is this object name, and you can see the rules that are associated with that particular object name. And using this, you will be able to optimize the set of rules that have been added for this particular firewall. So moving on, we are going to look at the rule reorder report, so which is another feature of rule management. In our scenario, you saw how multiple security admins have been writing the firewall rules. So it is highly possible that these rules are not optimally arranged. And for example, let's say that you have a new rule which was written recently, and it takes the position number of 500. But this is a rule that has a lot of hits. In other words, it is frequently used rule. So every time this rule needs to be accessed, Firewall Analyzer will have to go through all the other 499 rules that are present ahead of it. So what it does is it takes a hit on the firewall processing speed. So Firewall Analyzer provides you a rule reorder report, which helps you to solve this problem. So again, in the UI, you can see the rule management and you can click on this reorder, or you can just switch to this tab here. So as you see, there are a number of suggested changes. So what Firewall Analyzer does is it provides you with a rule name, and it provides you with a suggestion of where to move and what hit count it might have on your Firewall Analyzer, and how the performance improvement can be analyzed. So as you see, this is 26, and moving this rule number 19 from 8 to third position might have this hit count of 52, and the performance improvement will be 26. So with this suggestion, you'll be able to see how you can reorder it. And similarly, you have these complete changes. So these are the ones that have already been completed. So as you see, there are a number of rules that were in the previous positions, and you can also find out their hit count here. So moving on in the deck, we are going to look at another feature of rule management, which would be the rule cleanup report. And as I explained, Jim's company is a very old company, and there are a lot of possibilities that there are a lot of rules which are not used, and so also it can be out of the place. So since there are very same unused rules can be used by a skilled hacker to breach into the network. So with Firewall Analyzer's rule cleanup report, you get a detailed list of all the unused rules, unused objects, unassigned interfaces, and also unassigned objects. It is recommended that you first deactivate these rules for a short period of time. And once you find that there is no impact in the network, you can just safely remove these rules from your existing rule set. Let me take you to the product. So here you have this cleanup option. And here, as you can see, these are the number of unused rules, which is triggered for a period of time, let's say for 30 days here. So you can see the list of rule numbers along with their rule descriptions. So you can see there is an exhaustive list of this. So after this, you can also find out the unassigned interfaces, and you can also see the unassigned objects. So what you can do is you can find if these are any more useful for your firewall or not, and you can remove them. And you can also generate this report, or you can also schedule this report for a particular period of time. So say example, I'm going to click on add, and I can give a device name that is already selected by default, and I can provide a report name here, and I can have the widgets included. So these are the widgets that are included for this, and I can provide my mail address here, and so I can also select the report type, which how I want it to be sent, and the schedule time. So you can select it more intricate with more intricacies, and you can select the 7 days and with the hours and minutes also, and click on save. So this will be scheduled, and the report will automatically be reported to you through your email address. You can also select an alert profile for the cleanup, and since you can see that for cleanup, you can select any of these categories and provide a condition, whether you want it to be greater or greater and equal to, less or equal to, and provide the threshold value here, and select a priority. So this will help you learn the severity of how you want it to be, how your rule set wants to be optimized, and you can select the alert interval here. And after this, you can also select a notification type. So these are the templates that Firewall Analyzer supports for now: email based SMS. You can run a program, you can log a ticket, or you can create a syslog profile, trap profile, or even invoke a webhook. And by clicking on save, that particular alert profile will be saved. So next, we are going to look at the rule impact analysis, which is a very important feature of rule management. So the question here is, why do we need rule impact analysis? So before you add any rule, it is difficult to know the impact it will have on your existing rule set. So firewall rules are not typically independent from one another. In fact, most rules have a direct impact on a set of another rules. So given this case, you must take the utmost caution before adding a new rule to your firewall rule set. This simplest error can trigger a massive security loophole that either allows malicious traffic to sneak in or block legitimate traffic that can disrupt your normal business. So you can easily determine if the proposed new rule is going to impact the existing rule set negatively or positively through Firewall Analyzer's rule impact analysis. So I'll show you a sample of this. You can click on this impact, and as you can see, there are some existing rule impact reports. So for now I'll just show you how this will be shown. So this is for a FortiGate 1 device, firewall device, and as you can see, this is the rule impact rule details, where you can see the source, the destination, source interface, destination interface, along with the service and action. You'll be able to see the anomaly details for the particular firewall, where you'll be able to see the rule and source or destination. And again, so this will show you the anomalies that are there. So you can see the different kinds of anomalies here, right? So there is this redundancy, and then this is shadow anomaly type. And you can also get the rule reorder suggestions. So whether you want it to be rearranged, the rule order should be rearranged, and you will have overly permissive rule info listed here if there is any. And you can also have security threat details on levels of service or application level threats or interface level threats. So as you can see, there are a number of metrics that you can see with this. So you can see the interface name, service, the risk level, and if you are able to transfer the file, and if it's prone to misuse, and what are the vulnerabilities that you can detect with this, etc. And again, you have this blacklisted IP analysis. So this will help you see the number of blacklisted IP addresses that are in the that are in the proposed new rule. And this one is risky port info, where you will be able to see the ports that could impose vulnerability into your firewall or your network. And so you have an exhaustive list of this. And post this, you will also be able to see the object repetitiveness in rules. So you can see the rule numbers and the source or destination, and you can see those lists as well. So you can click on this impact analysis, and you can also generate a rule pre-impact report, where you can select rule name, provide a rule name, and you can provide the position, and you can select a source. You can select any source, or give a custom IP network range or IP range, and you can select the particular sources and the destination, the service and the action, etc. So you can also ask Firewall Analyzer to consider if there are any, if you have a very vast range of IP blacklisted IP file that you already have, then you can also provide that file to Firewall Analyzer for report generation purposes. And you can also examine the object repetitiveness for the rules. So this can range from 10 to 100, or even all the rules that are already present. And by clicking on generate report, you will be able to customize firewall to have this rule pre-impact report for the proposed rule. Next, we have the rule administration feature. So this is one feature that has revolutionized Firewall Analyzer from being simply a monitoring tool to a management tool. So using this feature, we have the capability to add, modify, and delete network service objects or firewall rules on your firewall device itself. So previously, we only used to give you the report for this, but we now allow you to perform an admin level function of making these changes by yourself. So in addition to that, you can also analyze the implications of the change and also push these changes directly to your firewall device itself. So in the UI, before that, I'll have to let you know that this is currently available for Palo Alto, Checkpoint, FortiGate, Sophos, etc. for select vendors alone. And so here you can see this administration tab. So where you will be able to find the network and service objects and security rules. So these are the firewall objects. So let's say that we have these firewall objects. In case you want to, push these rules and push these objects to live before implementation, this will be added to the local objects group. So you can click on this edit option where you will be able to add the address description, and you can also provide the members list and click on add. So that particular network object will be edited, and you can also select this delete option. So under this local objects, before you push any of the firewall objects into live, this will reflect, the local objects will reflect that. So you can just click on add, and that particular network object will be added for local objects tab. Okay. And you also have this service objects where you can see this listed here. So you can click on this and have the details of that particular service object. And you also have security rules. So under firewall rules, you have all of these rules, such as rule number, source, destination, source interface, destination interface, and service things. So you can also so once these local objects, once these are added, you will have to go to the review and push tab. So this is where the admin level changes of firewall, you can see them. So once you click on this, so you if there are in case a lot of network admins or security admins in your organization, and if you really want to look into each of the firewall rule or network object rule being pushed, then you can click on this, and you can see, you can review these objects, and then you can click on push. And this will help you to click on validate. And once you are done with pushing this, then you'll have this reflected under the commit option. So the commit option is where you will be able to view the different changes that have been made. So by clicking on view difference, you can see what are the things that have added, the modified changes. So the green one will let you know the added change, and all of these colors will let you know the modified and deleted new changes. Once this is done, this is where the rule approval comes in. So once those changes, once the committed changes are done, you will be able to find them under the rule approval option. So rule approval is where the super administrator's role comes in. So this will help you to see what are the pending requests, the approved requests, and the rejected requests are. So once you are done with that, you can click on this approve or reject request, and this you will be able to find if there are any security loopholes that you are allowing into the network. So next we are going to look at a feature of firewall that's called rule comparison. So with this feature, Jim can easily pinpoint the changes that are made to the rule configuration, and he can arrive at this conclusion by comparing configuration files between any two running versions, or any two offline versions, or even between one offline file and the configuration file that is present in offline version. So in the product, under the rule management section, you can see that under this tracking. So as you see, let me switch to some other. So here you can see the summary of the total changes that have been committed for the particular firewall device. So you see the last version change stats. You can see the user specific change that's been made here. You can also see the rule change trend to know how frequently there is a change in the particular firewall rule set. And you can also see the total rule change trend. So this green color indicates the added rules, and the orange ones again indicates the rules that have been edited, and the deleted rules will give you the rules that have been removed from that. So here you can click on this compare policies. So for the compare policies, as I told you, you can compare the policy differences between two configuration files, or you can compare one configuration file that's already running and the offline version of another configuration file, or you can compare between two running configuration versions. So for this particular device name, so let's say I'll go with FortiGate 1, And if I'm going to compare it with some other configuration version and I hit on compare, then you'll be able to see the comparison of the particular change that's happened. So let's say that you want to have this scheduled to your mail address, then you can click on this and you can get this email to your mail address, or you can also export this as a PDF. Moving on, the next feature that we are going to look at is the rule expiry notification feature. And as a rule management best practice, most security administrators set expiration dates for their firewall rules. So after expiring firewalls, they need to be rectified and reactivated again. However, as most of organizations have hundreds of rules and multiple security admins working on these rules, it becomes nearly impossible to review the expired rules and rectify them manually. So, Firewall Analyzer's expiry notification feature can help the security admins to track the status of your firewall rules and get notified on which rules have expired. So, this helps you get the visibility on all the firewall rules for which any kind of schedule has been set. It enumerates all the active firewall rules for which a schedule has been set, and security admins can also track the specific active rules. So an active rule shows you the upcoming rules, which catalogs all the rules that are scheduled to turn active in the near future. The expired rules it will show all the records of the expired rules again. And the recurring rules shows you the list of all the reactivated and certified rules on a regular basis. So all of these given reports can be scheduled or can be sent to your mail addresses, as you know. So you can have this working under rule management and expiry notification. So as you can see, these are the scheduled rules, and you can see all the active rules. So you will be able to see these data by rule number, the schedule name, schedule type, and days of week, time, etc. The upcoming rules, and you will also have the expired rules here. So and these are the recurring rules tab. So yeah, you can schedule this, and by clicking on add you will be able to select the device name and select the report type, whether you want all these scheduled rules or you want to have only active rules to be shown, or the upcoming rules, etc. And you can provide a report name. You can give your mail address and the schedule time and click on save to get that scheduled. So, in addition to the expiry notification, there is one more feature that we have launched from version 12.7. In case you want to experience the risk analysis feature, I would recommend you to upgrade your setups to 12.7 versions and above. So, this risk feature, it helps you to simplify and prioritize and manage all your existing rule sets. So it helps you to list the rules based on severity, and in identifying any firewall policy misconfigurations, and in limiting security incidents. So what this basically does is it's a live version of the impact report. So you get to understand how a new rule will impact your existing rule set. So however, this analysis risk analysis report will analyze the existing rules that are present in your firewalls, and it will tell you in case there are any risky or a poorly structured rule that is currently running in your security setup. So alert, and we also have this alert profile for rule management feature, which is another feature that comes under firewall analyzer, which helps you to improve your organization security posture. So rule management alert feature triggers. So as you can see, this is the alert feature and this is the risk analysis. So this is the summary of risk trend report, and you also have the risk level analysis report. You can see the different levels of severity here by critical, high, medium, low, and attention. So you also have the different rules here, and this will help you know the risk count. So three, and you can see the color coded things, and you also be able to see the source, destination, and the source interface, destination interface details here. So for this particular firewall, you have all of these rules under risk. So you can also see the excluded rules. So and so yeah, you can also click on regenerate to have this uh, regenerate to have this report regenerated, and you can also schedule this risk analysis report for the particular email address and the particular report type. And you can click on this alert profile, where you will be able to set the categories for the risks. That is, you can once the condition is the threshold condition is met, you will be able to yeah, configure the severity, whether it is high, medium, or low. And firewall analyzer will alert you by the notification template that you provide here. And yeah, by clicking on save, when the particular threshold is met for any of these configured rule categories, you will get the alarm for the same. So the second use case starts with monitoring the changes made to your firewall configuration. So let's say that one of the employees in Jim's team has left the company, and it is expected that he did some damage to the existing configuration before he has left. So previously, the company had no idea what these changes were, and now that Jim is here with the help of Firewall Analyzer, they want him to analyze and track and record all the changes that are made to the firewall configurations, and also to download these changes in a report format. But before that, the company also wants them to take a backup of the configurations files. So, in case the company runs into a network security issue or a security disaster, those are safe. They want to ensure the business continuity. So, they want to have a backup of these configurations. Let us look at Firewall Analyzer and how it's going to help. So under Firewall Analyzer's UI, you will have this compliance, where you will be able to see the different tabs such as standards, change management, security audit, audit logs, and configuration backup. So you will see how this is going to help. So as mentioned before, changes made to the firewall configurations has gone unnoticed previously, but with Firewall Analyzer, if say the employee who has quit the company who goes by the name James make a change to his firewall device, this is automatically recorded by Firewall Analyzer. So any change that has been made to the firewall will be added to Firewall Analyzer, and that will not go unnoticed. So Firewall Analyzer does not only track who made the changes, but also it tracks when it was done and what was changed. So this is how this is going to help. Also under change management, let's see the data for last 7 days. Yes. So under change management, you will be able to see the configuration changes that have been added so far, and you will also be able to see the rule changes. So under configuration changes, you have 952 added configurations, and you have 523 that's been modified and 2 deleted. So you can also see this data for any custom time period. So you also have the rule changes tab, and as you can see, this will also help you see the person who has made the change, and you can see the IP address of the changed who made the change, and the version number, and you can also see the change type, and you will see the configuration change count and the rule change count. So you can also get this notification whether you want it to be enabled or disabled. So if you want to enable, you can enable it for both rule change and the configuration change, and you can provide a mail address, and you can also provide SMS notification here. So under actions also, you will be able to report this. So as we saw in the use case, the organization also wants to keep track of all of these changes that's being made. So you can get this as a PDF report, or you can get this as a mail sent to your email address, or you can also schedule this. So that's it for change management. So next, right now, moving back to the neck, we are going to look at. So how, now that we have looked at it, the next thing we are going to look at is the configuration configuration backup. So with this feature, Jim can easily schedule automated configuration backups, and hence any erroneous modifications made to his current configuration version, either due to an attack or due to a network disaster, can be reverted with the help of the backup option. So as we saw, you have this configuration backup. Here you can see the all scheduled backups here. So this is for the Palo Alto device, and you can see the status of that, and when it is scheduled to run the next configuration backup, and when it was last created, last modified, and you also have the backup option. So here you will be able to see the backup audit. So in case you want to add a new one, you can click on add backup schedule and provide a schedule name. Select any available devices here. You can schedule it for a daily basis or weekly or monthly or even just once. And you can save the backup configuration, whether you want it for latest backup or what. And then you can get the backup status as email to the email address that you configure with the subject line that you provide. And finally, you can also compare two different configurations. So if you have a device name here, you can enter, you can select a device name, and you can also compare it by rule, and you can compare it by configurations. And so you can also schedule these rules by different schedule type to daily or even once. And you can select a particular time period, and you can also compare it with any running configurations or any latest configurations available. Moving on to the third use case. So Jim's company need to be compliant with multiple security standards, but they are failing short with a lot of them. So this has affected them so much that they have started losing customers since their compliance is not up to date. So for this very purpose, Jim has been assigned a task to submit a detailed compliance report and a security audit report. Let us now look at how Jim utilizes the compliance and security audit section of Firewall Analyzer to resolve this issue. So the standards and compliance management feature of Firewall Analyzer provides out-of-the-box compliance standards for multiple compliances. So in addition to what is mentioned on the screen, we have added two more compliance requirements, which is again available on our online demo. And if you want to know more, you can check them out on freely available demo, or you can also request a personalized demo. So to access this feature, you just have to simply go to the compliance, and then you have the standards tab here. And for this particular firewall, you can see the different complaint standards. So this is PCI DSS, and you can see why that particular compliance has why that particular firewall has failed to meet the compliance here. And you can click on view more, and this will provide you an exhaustive information on the what are the status that have been met and not met. So pass is where you will be able to see how the firewall checks all the conditions of the particular complaints, and fail is where the firewall fails to meet the particular complaints. So as you can see, these are the failed statuses. And so yeah, you can view this complaints for you can view this for many complaints, including SANS, NIST, and ISO, SOX, etc., HIPAA, which are very important for all the healthcare and banking sectors. So you can also click on click on an action, and you can fetch and regenerate a particular compliance check, or you can also get it notified. So when the threshold of the particular compliance crosses or it violates, then you can set that priority for the particular violation, and you can also enable the notification for that. So moving back to the deck, right? The next feature we are going to look at is the security audit report. And Firewall Analyzer's security audit report helps you to identify the configuration loopholes in your firewalls. So it lists the events based on criticality, such as critical, high, medium, low, and many things. So in addition to that, it also provides a detailed finding that is what is the impact on the network and etc. So let me show you that to understand how it works. So you can find this here under security audit. So as you can see, this provides an entire summary of the particular firewall's security audit. So here you will be able to see the about the report. So the report standard, the representation and stuff, and you will also be able to view it for other firewalls as well. So this will provide you the critical rated issue count and a high rated issue, and the below statistics will help you to know the results of the assessment. So how strong or how the firewall's functionality has been good to the network. And yeah, so to summarize, Firewall Analyzer is a policy and configuration management tool. It helps us to identify policy anomalies, unused rules and objects, and it lets you to perform in-depth impact analysis and also helps you to push the policy changes directly to your firewall. It plays a critical role in optimizing a firewall performance. And in addition to that, you also get out-of-the-box compliance report for top standards like PCI DSS, NIST, ISO, GDPR, etc. And in addition to that, it also helps you to monitor your configuration changes and also helps you schedule configuration backups. So this important point is it supports all major firewall devices. So moving on, these are the basic installation requirements for Firewall Analyzer. So it can be installed on a Windows or Linux system, and all the syslogs received by the Firewall Analyzer by default is stored in the Postgres database. Or if you can also configure the syslog to be stored in MS SQL database, and the disk space and RAM space is mentioned as here, and the same might vary depending on the number of devices that's being analyzed in your network and the number of devices that are sending log information to Firewall Analyzer. So on the screen, you can see the prerequisite ports that need to be free and the respective protocols that would be used. So here we have the SSH/SCP protocol on port 22 and TFTP on port 69 and 23 for Telnet. And finally, we have 1514, which is this is the listener port for syslogs, where you are required to forward all your syslog for Firewall Analyzer to generate reports. And we also have a technology partnership with popular vendors like Checkpoint, Palo Alto, and WatchGuard. And we are also actively working towards expanding this section. And over 200 of devices that are currently being supported. So this is another list that we are actively expanding. In case you are running a firewall device that is maybe not on this list, you can check out all the list. You can also tell us the vendors, and you also have our online web pages which will help you and which will guide you to the right thing. So Firewall Analyzer provides the rule management report for the given list of firewalls. So again, this is another feature list that is available on our website. In case you are curious, you can have a look at this. And if you want me to send them to you or email you, you can simply let us know by commenting in the chat panel. And we'll customize an email with all of the listed vendors that we support and send to you as soon as possible. You have the basic information on the help that you could avail from us. So, yeah. In addition to this, we also have a couple of ebooks that you can benefit from. And you can also share your experience on using Firewall and get a $25 gift card from us. And this will make a huge difference to supporting you in terms of monitoring your network and growing along with you. So we have a disclaimer on the security. So with respect to customer security and customer data security, from ManageEngine, we can assure you that we take customer security very as a top priority, and we make sure that it stays protected at all costs. So we have another session coming 11th March. So if you want to know more, you can learn more about alarm management, network security and traffic reports, or VPN monitoring, or user monitoring and firewall log analysis. Please do not forget to join our next session. So if you want to know more about VPN management and other collaterals of how Firewall Analyzer helps you secure your network, please feel free to go through these resources. And yep, thank you for joining us today. We hope this training was fruitful and you learn a thing or two. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.